States' foreign aid in the Middle East. And so some background info about the foreign aid is that the United States foreign aid is divided between two categories, military and economic assistance. We give it to developing countries, countries of strategic importance, and countries recovering from war. In 2012, the U.S. spent $54.5 billion on foreign aid, $23.3 billion spent on military, and $31.2 billion spent on economic assistance. According to the USAID, which is the United States Agency for International Development, the top 6 countries that receive the U.S. foreign aid are all located in the Middle East. And with that, I'm going to be talking about how the U.S. spends billions of dollars to provide aid in the Middle East. Number 2, providing aid in the Middle East is not in our best interest. And number 3, the United States should reform other aid programs instead. So going back to the U.S. spends billions of dollars to provide aid in the Middle East. The U.S. provides aids to corrupt countries. According to Transparency.org, which is a nonprofit, non-governmental organization dedicated to fighting corruption, they organize the Corruption Perception Index, which ranks countries based on how corrupt the public sector is perceived to be. So with a score of 0 is most corrupt, and a score of 100 means very clean. So Afghanistan had a corruption score of 8, tying with Somalia and North Korea for the most corrupt country. And we're giving $2.5 billion, which is to Afghanistan, which is the second highest receiver of our foreign aid. And we're giving $1.7 billion to Iraq, which received a score of 18 on the Corrupt Perception Index. An article from Foreign Affairs stated that of the $6.6 billion in military aid the United States gave to Pakistan between 2002 and 2008, only $500 million ever made it to the military. Subpoint B is that the U.S. provides aid to the Middle Eastern countries that will not stabilize. Forbes' article on foreign aid or foreign hindrance stated that the U.S. provided $30 billion to Egypt over the last 3 decades, but the country still remains poor and undemocratic. Subpoint C, the U.S. does not need to spend $3.1 billion in Israel, the top receiver of our foreign aid. The Congressional Research Service estimated that since 1949, the U.S. has given Israel about $115 billion in aid. Yuval Levin of the Jerusalem-based Institute for the Advanced Strategic and Political Studies concluded in his study of American aid to the Middle East that American aid to Israel slows growth, stifles economic activity, encourages inefficiency, and keeps alive Israel's socialist system. It's counterproductive for the Jewish state. Secondly, providing aid to the Middle East is not in our best interest. Foreign aid in the Middle East promotes anti-Americanism. In Cairo, Egypt, several men scaled the wall of the U.S. Embassy and tore down the American flag and its role encouraging anti-American terrorism. They tore down American flag, and according to the CNN producer, Mohammed Fadel, who was on the scene. We're giving aid, $1.5 billion of aid to a country that does not even like us. U.S. military action in the U.S. does not promote security. According to a Reuters poll, 65% of Americans believe that we should not become involved in any military action in the Middle East unless it is directly threatened. According to Peter Weber of The Week magazine, disengagement from the Middle East would not be bad for the U.S. The core complaint and the founding impetus of Al-Qaeda, for example, was that the presence of the U.S. troops in Saudi Arabia And thirdly, the United States should reform other aid programs instead. Other countries need more aid than the Middle East. In a study about foreign aid in Uganda, Helen Milner, a professor of political Politics and International Affairs at Princeton University found that more than 80% of respondents told us that they wanted to see aid increase a lot, and 93% of them preferred at least some increase.